Hi everyone, hope everyone is well. This evening I am playing Napoleon's Eagles, 100 Days. I am playing the Wavre scenario. I played through Quatre Bras now and Ligny on the channel, so I thought I'm going through each scenario in turn. So it's Wavre next, and I've got it set up, all ready to go on the table. So let's have a look. We've got the game set up here on the table. As you can see, it's just two wings. And we've got two key locations. We've got the Prussian reserve over here on the right and the French on the left. Prussians have several brigade cards and they have a cavalry card as well. One of the brigades cards is disrupted, and on the French side, and the French get the first. French is the first player. They have two division cards here as part of third corps and fourth corps here, and they also have some horse as well. Now in terms of the objectives, it is, looking at the objective, it's 1 victory point per demoralization inflicted on the opponent, so that would not count because it's not been inflicted on the opponent yet. And 1 per opposing unit eliminated. Doesn't look like there's any victory points for the locations in this particular scenario. There are some special rules on the first turn. If the French are able to cause any demoralizations with a breakthrough attack onto the Prussian reserve, that breakthrough does double the amount of demoralization points, which is quite interesting. So there is a victory condition actually if a player gains a major victory by breaking the opposing army. So the French could try and break the Prussian army and gain the victory that way rather than through victory points. Which is probably, I'm quite tempted to try that in this evening's playthrough and see if that can work. As it is the French, they've got more units, so we could certainly try a breakthrough, see if that can work. So what we'll probably do is on the first turn put all the French units into one of the things I like about this game is that you do have to make some quite tough decisions. So even playing it solo, when you kind of know what both sides are going to do. So I shall have a think about that, whether to put all the French units onto one wing. Probably wouldn't do that actually. I'd probably put the 14th division in one wing and the rest in another wing, and see, we can get combined arms because there's horse, artillery and foot. Really good. So even though it's quite a small scenario, now there are, with the fact it's two wings, it's not a huge number of cards, there are some significant French reinforcements on turns. I think it's turns, I've put the sheet away somewhere. Oh, here we go, I've got it. Turns 2 and 3. Although some of the French reinforcements will enter disrupted on turn 2. So there'll be a few more cards on the French side, but no reinforcements for the Prussians. So the Prussians are going to get a bit of a hammering, I think, in this particular scenario. We'll see. So what I'll do, I'll play each turn and give a surmise at the end of that turn as to what's happening and anything about the game mechanics. But really from a narrative point of view, which is why I enjoy playing this game series so much, because it does create a really rich narrative. It's not going to take too long to play. With just two wings and just a small number of cards, I think I can imagine it's probably one of the quicker scenarios actually. Certainly be able to play it this evening at a quite a leisurely pace. Yes, so by the end of turn 1, yes, unfortunately the Prussians have taken a bit of a hammering from the French. They have lost 2 locations here. Both of their wings are flanked, which means they'll have less cards to choose from in the next turn. and they suffered a fair amount of demoralisation because of the French breakthrough attacks into their reserve. The French did very well. They got way better cards in the hand for the combat, which was brutal, to be honest, for the Prussians. And the Prussians really, I really wanted to try and just keep hold of the Prussian units and not suffer a casualty from the card, so that they could stay in play. So the Prussians' demoralisation is at 6 points, which is really bad for them. And turn 2 next, we need to see if the French can bring in some another card, some more divisions. It looks like they come in automatically, but they do enter disrupted, so they won't have any great impact in turn number 2. But turn 3 they will, and I can see the Prussians just getting hammered again through these wings. But we'll see. So now at the end of turn 2, the Prussians have still got some teeth, and they were able to hold off the French on this wing and win that amount of combat. So they did incredibly well. However, obviously the French inflicted further demoralisation on the Prussians. But that was a turn that the Prussians managed just to. No, actually, sorry, I apologise. The French tried to do a breakthrough and were stopped by the Prussians. I just noticed demoralisation hasn't gone up. And on this side, the Prussians were victorious. On this wing, Prussians were victorious to that turn. So didn't go all to the plan of the French in that turn. Now turn number 3 is next, and we get the last of the French reinforcements. I did forget to mention in the HDC, both nations had units in the HDC, both cavalry, and the French were able to bring them back in, but not so much for the Prussians. And that's hurt the Prussians quite significantly. So turn number 3, the French more reinforcements into their reserve, and hopefully the Prussians will be able to get their cavalry back into the reserve, and that'll give them more options. However, this top wing here is still going to be open for them to be attacked by the French, unfortunately. So turn 3 next. Yes, unfortunately, at the end of turn 3, the French have secured victory. The Prussians valiantly holding on, trying to hold on to onto this terrain card here, but they lost it. The French then caused more demoralisation, and to the limit where the Prussian army is defeated in this scenario. But the Prussians did incredibly well and managed to delay that, I think, and had a good second turn, but not to be. Just too many French units against the amount that the Prussians have meant it's a tough challenge for them. So I'll just finish with some finishing thoughts. So a challenging scenario for the Prussians. It's certainly quite interesting in playing it solo, and I think it solos really well in the sense of trying to formulate a better strategy than what I was doing as the Prussians anyway, just to see if you can hold out for the 4 turns without the French demoralising your force so much. I think also if you were playing it 2-player, I would recommend that maybe if one player is more experienced in the game, they should play the Prussians and let the person who's less experienced play as the French. Certainly does feel as a scenario more in favour for the French. But of course it has that history flavour. But it's a fun scenario, and I can see how I'll play it through quite a few more times just to formulate that Prussian strategy. Maybe I should have brought the Prussian general into one of the wings earlier. That might have helped. I think also the Prussians were quite unlucky. They had that cavalry unit go HDC and it remained there longer than you would want, really, and that was just unluck. And the French got very good cards in combat. However, in turn 2, the Prussians did. So and it was a good cut and thrust on both sides. I really enjoyed it. Didn't take long to play, to set up and play that, including doing the little video clips and stuff. no more than maybe about an hour, something like that. I do like this game a lot, and I'm going to set up Waterloo. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to film it or not because it requires quite a large table, and I only have a limited tripod. I'm going to give it a try and see. So next on the table in this game will be the actual Waterloo game, but it's got lots of, unlike the other scenarios, it has quite a few wings, which means it just takes up that much more space. But I'm certainly looking forward to playing it and playing out, one of the most famous battles of history with Waterloo. Battles certainly that I've played in many other war games, and I've read countless accounts of in historic literature. So very much looking forward to that next. If you played this game or you have any questions about it, please leave a comment in the comments section. It's been great to see some of the comments from the viewers already on the first few scenarios. And if you're not familiar with the game, I really do recommend checking it out. It is probably one of my favourite card-driven or card-based war games that I can think top of my head. I can't think of one that I've enjoyed more than this anyway. And obviously the Napoleonic theme really appeals to me because I cover a lot of Napoleonic wargaming. So please do check that out. I have reviewed the first game in the series, and I'll put a link to that video in the description as well. So please check that out. And thanks a lot for watching. As always, thank you.